Black Ram 313 back at it again. You know why? It's because this is therapeutic, man. Back again for another video and therapy session. The title of this video proper is The Wall. Over 30 and still single. Now I'd like to begin this video with an article. An article from Thrillist magazine, an online article. And the title of this article is What's the Worst Age to Be a Single Woman by Jen Kim. And the article reads, and I quote, 33 isn't just the jersey number of basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And now it's the absolute worst age to be a single lady, at least according to Plenty of Fish and a recent survey by the popular dating site. Researchers analyzed nearly 2 million messages across 81,000 user profiles. They discovered 33-year-old women receive the fewest messages and therefore concluded this is the loneliest number of all. And in today's least surprising news, 25-year-old gals came out on top. But what exactly makes 33 so unlucky? While there's no hard science to prove it, a site rep suggests that 33, most women prioritize getting married and starting families, while their male counterparts prioritize ordering their next round of drinks. In fact, the survey anticlimactically revealed that there's just no bad age to be a single guy. Still, if you are a single girl and turning 33 today, don't freak out. Relax. You won't turn into a real-life Carrie Bradshaw just because one dating site says so. Sure, it might be a solo-filled year for you, but it won't necessarily be the worst ever. In fact, I'm pretty sure these other single years could be even worse. It may not seem like it, but when you're 22, you're in a catch-22, says relationship coach Ellen Klein. You've got the looks, and face it, you'll never be as hot as you are now, and the ability to attract the highest quality, most available men. You're in every man's favorite age range. But you'll also be prone to making the dumbest dating mistakes. In your early 20s, you're immature and inexperienced, says Klein, which is why you're drawn to the wrong guys or rush into serious relationships. The big risk here is that you miss out on tons of good dating and sexual experiences. At this age, most people don't know what those good experiences are. And you may find yourself stuck in bad relationships for years. If history has taught us anything, 27 is a bad year. So it should come as no surprise that 27 is terrible for singles too, says Dana Bouch and Stephanie Talmadge, co-creators of Bold Dudes, a newsletter chronicling the internet's finest relationship horror stories. They say 27 is the magic age when Facebook opens the floodgates to friends, engagement announcements, and gratuitous close-up shots of gaudy engagement rings, while you remain as single as a young man at a Celine Dion concert. But the pain doesn't end there. You also have the bonus humiliation of attending those weddings solo, or bring a Tinder stranger to pose as your plus one. Both options usually result in less than a good time. 33 is bad, but 34 will be worse, warns Pegah Shaharia, a lawyer and self-described relationship expert who will be turning 34 later this year. You're suddenly at a point, quoting her, when everyone around you is married and having their first, sometimes second kid, she says. All you see is how much progress everyone else has made with their lives. It's impossible not to feel scared, lonely, and left behind. Shahari also believes that 34 is a year to get your relationship act together. It's the oldest acceptable age to be single, she says. You're literally counting down the days until you're 35, which by then is too late. People just assume that it's never going to happen for you. That's when they really give up. You may feel like giving up at 35, but if you're turning 40 and single, it's a living hell, says Trevor Brandon Scarf, a dating expert and relationship blogger. Before she married her husband at 51, Scarf dated half the planet, but was still convinced she'd be single forever. You see, all your friends are settled and have kids, she says. And if the peer pressure doesn't put you in agony, your biological clock will. By 40, women's eggs are at a greater risk for chromosomal problems, which means you become painfully aware that the window for having healthy children has started to close. What's worse, she says, is many of the men in your dating pool are freshly divorced, and the last thing they want to do is dive back into a serious relationship. Close quote. And that is from an article from Thrill, the website, called What's the Worst Age to Be Single? There you have it. A lot of interesting points there. Over 30 and yet still single. But guess what? It is all her fault. One of the reasons why she's single at age 30 plus is because she has way too many disqualifiers. A woman told me once that she had a handsome boyfriend, but wasn't attracted to him very much because his dress style was sloppy. Her female friends told her to teach him how to dress, but she didn't want to do it. Didn't want to change him. Her friends told her that she's too picky. This particular female is about a 4 on the look scale. And although she is short and plump, of course she believes that she deserves a 6'10" basketball player who is fit, tall, dark, and handsome. I've heard plenty of succubi brag about being too picky. Translation, she believes that no man is good enough for her, and she is not going to settle. Most believe that they are settling when they date you, brothers. They believe that you are beneath her. She's a princess that deserves better, and her battle cry is, "You deserve better, girl." She believes she deserves better. She wants a guy like she sees on the television and social media. But she doesn't realize that no man is a television character and that TV is made up. And yes, she is just that silly. If this is not so, then why is Idris Elba her hope in her dream? Or any one of her favorite characters that she sees on the television? If she doesn't get him or someone close to him, she believes that she is settling. Oftentimes she's single after 30 is because she wants men who exceeds or at least meets her same education level. She wants a guy that meets or exceeds her own career and career choices. If she's a nurse, she wants a doctor. This is also known as hypergamy. See, she doesn't have the wisdom and foresight to realize that men can make excellent money, receive excellent pay in the trades, blue-collar workers and semi-professionals such as engineering. She has no clue that there's a world outside of a master's degree in education, a world outside of a master's degree in social work and human resources, which are female-dominated degrees and degree fields. Listen, man, a truck driver who's an owner-operator, can make $5,000 or more per week take home. Her master's degree in most cases cannot do that. Still, because she doesn't see you as a professional, as a white-collar person, you are beneath her. She is so picky, isn't she? Which is one of the reasons why she is still single after she's hit the wall and over 30. Today's lady is 200 pounds, 300 pounds, plus of pure frustration with a bunch of kids to go along with that. And she still says that she's not gonna settle. And it's your job when you meet her to be the court jester, to make her laugh, to impress her, to woo her, to excite her, to please her. Although she has nothing at all to bring to the table, and I say let her remain single. She has little to give, and mainly nothing at all. But she wants to receive everything. She expects from you perfection, although she has no value of her own. She is delusional and, of course, should be avoided. Now we have this term in this sector of YouTube called the wall. The wall denotes her depreciating value. The wall, this phenomenon, this term, is the fact that on the dating market, the fact that her SMV is high when she's young, but depreciates rapidly and dramatically through time. As the article says, she will never be as desirable as she was when she was in her 20s. Once she turns 30, her SMV, her dating market value, I'm going to say DMV, can depreciate by up to 30% by looks alone, because of course as she ages, her beauty deteriorates. And when you add onto her depreciating looks based upon her age, if you add certain accelerators, for instance, obesity, we can take off 15% for that. 15% per every 10 pounds overweight. So then a succubus that is an 8 now becomes a 6.5 once the age sets in, once the pounds set in, once the children come in. Thus, she hits the wall at an accelerated rate. And speaking of children, you can take off 30% of her value per child. So then if she's a 6.5 at 35, due to those accelerating factors like weight and a child, she goes from a 6.5 to a 3.5. Add another kid and more size, then the decrease in value will reflect such. Now, there's not much of a limit to this. We can go into negative numbers. So you're dealing with a succubi who's involved in a continual deficit. And I didn't even mention that if she's 35 or 40, and along with children, the pound, that she also has bad credit, a bad attitude, has had multiple partners, then of course this greatly accelerates her crash into the wall. Check out my video called SMV and Assessment. So to sum it up, let's check it out like this. Let's say you have a 37-year-old single mother of 2 who's about 40 pounds overweight. She's been with about 28 guys. Her credit score is in the low 500s. She has a debt of about $60,000 due to student loans and her consumer debt, her credit card debt, her outstanding debt, what she owes on furniture because of purses, going out to eat at fancy restaurants, you name it. So now you have that debt. To deal with such, you're dealing with her at a substantial loss, and she becomes a huge liability. Such a one is probably like a negative 2, 3, 4, 5. So now she's hit the wall, and many of them, they instinctively know that the wall is coming, but they're often too delusional to really do anything about it. Hence, the typical American succubi's dating habit. So let's meet a typical but fictional succubi. Let's call her Shamika. And Shamika, at 21 years old, brown skinned, about 5'4", probably about 136 pounds, very round posterior. Let's say she has a bachelor's degree in human resources. And in the looks category, let's say she's a strong California 8. And at 21 years old, she starts hitting up the clubs, and all types of men are chasing her. Thuggos, corporate guys. She's being approached by all types of men every day of her life. Many men receiving attention everywhere she turns. Every moment of the day, on her social media accounts, the Instagram account, the Twitter, the Snapchats, the Facebooks, the club, in the mall, walking down the street. Anytime she turns her head, she has a man smiling in her face. And men are willing to do anything just for her attention, just for a conversation. She gets gifts, trips, cash, all of these things, which are an ego and confidence boost to her. And such attention drives her to pure arrogance. And can you really blame such a weak creature for having such arrogance? Should you even blame the creature? Who's more at fault? Thirsty dudes or her? You be the judge. So now she deals with multiple guys for pleasure and for the bread. The sugar daddy, the thug, the pretty boy, the player, and she has many male friends. She feels as if she's on top of the world, but there's one problem. She doesn't realize that over time, she doesn't realize that in time, it's all gonna change. She doesn't realize that her time in the limelight, in the sun, her day of popularity, her moment of fame, she doesn't realize that one day it will all go away. It does not last forever. So let's fast forward 14 years in the future for Shamika. She is now 35 years old. Again, it's 14 years later and many pounds greater. As big as a house and twice as heavy. She has a kid by Pookie, who's now doing a 10-year sentence in an institution. Now she's ready to settle down and get serious. Enter Tinder and POF because she's older and she has children. But on Tinder and POF, she realized guys only want to smash. Now enter the phrase, men ain't shh. You already know. And the reason why she says this is because at 35 with 2 kids, nobody's checking for her. There's no one trying to wife her up. No one that she believes that qualifies. Now, of course, she gets a lot of attention, but no one in her mind that qualifies wants to wife her up. Now on Tinder and POF, although she's played all of these games in her youth, now she says in her profile that she ain't got time for games like the ones that she played in her youth. And guess what? It's everybody else's fault that she's single. Everybody else's fault but hers. Although she made all of the choices, although she ate all the donuts, it's your fault that she's single because you're just immature and no good. The wall is here. The wall is here for her now. Time does not discriminate. The market does not lie. Her value is far less, at least in the mind of the established and mature man. A man who knows his value and self-worth. She has hit the wall. Can you name some modern females who have hit the wall? Look at Jennifer Lopez. Look at Halle Berry. Look at Nia Long. What's the woman that plays on Empire? Oh, Taraji P. Henson. Bam! Smack right dead into the wall. Have you seen her lately? She looks tired. She looks good for 40. Shout out to Taraji P. Henson, right? One of the reasons why she's 30 and still single is because she's so arrogant. She really does believe no man is good enough for her. I have to repeat that. Her ideal man is one that gives her vag all of the tingles, makes her wickle. Her ideal man is tall and dark-skinned and very handsome, above 6 figures, big old bippy, he dresses well, and he's a professional with high social status. This is what she wanted at 21, 31, 41, 51, and 61, right? But who says that a man of such caliber would even be interested in her? Even when she's 40, man, she still believes that she can pull a celebrity. She's still infatuated with celebrities, just as she was when she was 17. I personally know of a 50-year-old woman with a picture of Idris Elba on her refrigerator. She has never grown up. And you, fella, you're more than likely the average guy. Average meaning that you're possibly average height, under 6 feet. You may not be considered ultra attractive. You may have an average median income for the United States of about $40K per year. With not a huge social life, you're just a regular guy. Some of us, some of you. But if you're not over 6 feet, her attraction for you is very low. She feels this way even after hitting the wall. After hitting the wall face first. Even when she's 35 plus. He still got to be tall, girl. But aren't you too old to be so picky, miss? She has this ideal male in her mind. Maybe she wants a guy like the dude she had in Miami. Or when she went to Vegas on the girls' trip. Or the time she went out with her girls and then returned home to her boyfriend until 9 a.m. the next day. Maybe she's still looking for that guy. Or maybe she's still looking for the guy who was popular in high school. Maybe she's still looking for the guy that she fell in love with that she knew had a girlfriend. Maybe she's still looking for that athlete, that popular athlete in college. You know, the one she got down with on the first date. So she's 30 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old, and 45 plus, and still single. And if you date her at this juncture in life, proceed with caution, because you will be in a losing situation. So here are 10 reasons by Black Rum 313 why she's 30 and still single. Let's get to it. Number 1, her unrealistic expectations. She looks like crap, but believes she deserves a guy way above average looks. Her waistline is a mile around, but she wants a guy with that V shape, that swimmer's body. You have to be also great when she's below average. And this unrealistic expectation, this ideal, contributes greatly to the reason why she's still single at 30 years old plus. Number 2, she's so selfish, way too selfish. A relationship is all about her. She's the important one and the only true being in the relationship. It's all about what he has and what he can do for her. She doesn't realize that a relationship involves 2 people, including you as one of them. The succubi, therefore, makes a terrible wife and girlfriend. Now, how fun or fulfilling is it to be in a one-sided relationship? A relationship that's all about her needs, wants, and desires at the expense of your very own. Number 3, as to the reason why she's still single after 30, is because she's actually terrible at relationships. In fact, her relationships at that age has a proven track record of a 100% failure rate. She's been in dating and relationships since she was a teen, and at age 40, she now has amassed over 20 years of pure failure in all of her relationships. Now think about that. If you owned a company, would you hire someone with a 20+ year work history who has had 50 different jobs but quit or was fired from every last one of them? Now, given this history, what is the likelihood of the creature's longevity at your company? Would you hire such an individual who has demonstrated a 100% failure rate as an employee? Or how about someone who has been in a car wreck 50 different times with 50 different cars? would you insure such a person if the decision was yours? So if she has such a failure rate in all her relationships, how much of an option is she? And guess what? She's going to blame someone else, but it is she who's the common denominator of such failures. Number 4, she remains single because she's waited too long. Many people of her age are married, and she's now left behind. She wanted to dedicate every ounce of her youth to riding the carousel. Even the article makes mention of that. She spent her best years riding the carousel, not realizing that time waits for no one. In her nature, the succubi has no real concept of time, which denotes her perpetual undevelopment and lack of practical intelligence. In her delusional world, she's an ageless supermodel who will never run out of options until she actually does run out of options. Which brings me to number 5. Too many current options when she's young. And she believes that due to her current popularity on social media, that her options are limitless and eternal. But as time goes on, her delusional dreams of grandeur turns into a living nightmare as she finds herself over 30, and then 35, and then 40, then 45, still single and alone. Number 6, as to the reason why she's 30 and still single, is because she's crashed headfirst into the wall. She's much older now, at 30, 35, and 40. Her fertility window is dialing down, if not gone altogether. Any pregnancy now is considered high risk due to her age. Her skin is not as tight. Her smile, therefore, isn't as pleasant. And a thinking man who may be looking for a family may be wise enough to choose a mate whose fertility is still viable instead of one whose time has come and gone. Number 7, as to the reason why she's still single, is because she cannot compete with the younger and latest model. She's an old car with outdated technology inside. You know, I have a 2005 Lexus ES. It has no Bluetooth connection, no Bluetooth connectivity possible. It has no USB ports whatsoever. And it didn't even come with an auxiliary port either. Very difficult to have an MP3 player in that car. And likewise, now when she's 35, she is now the outdated vehicle. Used and outdated. Any thinking man would want the younger model with lower miles instead of the lemon with 500K plus miles on it. Now, I was told that if you are buying a used car, you're buying someone else's problems. And she is that 1999 Chevy Cavalier with engine and transmission issues, not to mention the suspension is shot and the car is a rust bucket. 500K miles on it. But she expects still to be treated like a 2019-2020 model car. But she just cannot compete at 35, standing next to that gorgeous 23-year-old. High-valued males are going to want the younger model each and every time. Number 8, older is not pretty. Now, she looks good for 40, but I've never seen 40 look better than 20. Even an above average looking female at 35 and 40 is not as attractive to me as an average looking 21-year-old. You ever look at a woman's hands? You can see her age by her hands. Her hands always show you her real age. Now, instead of guys looking at her, these same men now look past her to see the 20-something-year-old walking by. And this is the reason why she stays away from the club at that age. It's not her maturity, silly. It's because she cannot compete at the club standing next to that younger lady. She has become invisible, except to the super thirsty guys that are super lame and super simps. You know, the guy who looks like Norbit, maybe. But sorry, Keisha, old is not pretty. Number 9, that's the reason why she's 30 and single, is because maybe she's stuck in her ways. Stubborn. In many cases, bitter, and her attitude has become worse over the years. She has indeed become unbearable. And not even her 5 cats like her. She repels men with her size and attitude. Her metabolism itself has slowed down to a crawl. And her attitude is more and more a turnoff, not to mention her arrogance. At 40, she still thinks that she's a dime and wants to pull an NBA player. Again, she never grew up. Number 10, as to the reason why she may be single after the wall, after 30, is because she's so desperate to get married. She lets it be known right away that she wants to get married. She says that any man that she deals with must want the same. Now, there's nothing wrong with her being direct, but smart men will realize that she wants the title, not necessarily the man in particular or as an individual. She's looking at him as a situation to get into and not a person to love. This is very telling, and it should repel wise men. And that's the list. So in closing, realize that guys typically increase in their DMV, dating market value, as they age. They become, in many cases, more health conscious, more mature in looks, more money, a better dresser, and more wisdom. This is why many men are in no rush. Their dating market value increases over the years, while hers decline and decrease. And the funny thing is since the society teaches the succubi, in particular, to be and think and behave like a guy, the succubi thinks that its value increases with age also. Wrong. She says, "What do you want with the young woman? She don't know nothing." When she's talking to a guy who likes younger women, she tries to shame you for what's natural. And it's very natural to be attracted to youth and beauty over age and weariness. Now, there's another element to this that I'll discuss in a future video, most high willing. But for now, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification button so that you will not miss the Black Round 313 video. If you'd like to talk to me, email link in the description box. If you want uncut and raw material, check out my Patreon page. And if you like this video and others and you want to donate, PayPal link is in the description box as well as all the other information. And until next time, my brothers, stay well and stay red pilled. This is Black Ram 313, and I'm out.